John Carroll played Syracuse University in Cleveland Stadium, and we beat them with Paul Brown and his entire staff looking on. Out of that ball game, I was drafted. Weeb Eubank was a scout or an assistant coach and a scout, and he prepared the scouting reports, and he recommended that they draft us. So Carl Tassif and myself were drafted from John Carroll to the Cleveland Browns football team. And that was in 1951. As it turned out, I was the only rookie to make that team, and then Carl Tassif joined them later. And my first rookie contract was for $5,000. I ended up playing 7 years in the National Football League, and then it came decision time. After John Carroll University, I was offered a teaching coaching job at Canton Lincoln High School here in Canton, Ohio, for $3,750. But I decided I would reach for the moon and shoot for that $5,000 and see whether or not I could play in the National Football League. And the fact that we had played Syracuse and beat them in Cleveland Stadium gave me the confidence that we could play on that level, even though we were a small college team. I started my coaching career in the National Football League as an assistant coach with the Detroit Lions in 1960, 61, and 62. And the memorable game in that period of time was when nobody was beating the Green Bay Packers and Vince Lombardi. We beat them on Thanksgiving Day in a great, great performance. I think we had 12 quarterback sacks in that ball game. And then, again, as a defensive coach, I was given a lot of credit for that success. This led me to have the opportunity to become a head coach in the National Football League. The Colts were looking. Gino Marchetti, the captain of the Baltimore Colts and a Hall of Famer, and I was hoping that he would be here today, but I guess he could not be here. But Gino Marchetti told Carroll Rosenblum, the owner, who was going to make a coaching change, that if you're looking for somebody, Shula's the guy. And Rosenblum then gave me an interview, and the question that he asked, he said, "You're going to be the youngest coach in the National Football League. Do you think that you're ready for the job?" And I said, "Carroll, the only way that you'll find out is if you hire me and give me the opportunity." He liked that answer. He gave me the job. I had 7 great years coaching the Colts, and a lot of memorable things, a lot of great players. Lenny Moore, Jim Parker, Raymond Berry, John Unitas, the quarterback. But the fun time of coaching was the time when Unitas was hurt and Quazzo was hurt, and we were getting ready to get into the playoffs, and the only player that I had to play was a guy that had played quarterback at Ohio State, Tom Matty, but hadn't played quarterback in the pros. So I had to get him ready in a hurry because we had to win in order to make it to the playoffs. So I called Woody Hayes. I said, "Woody, can this guy play in the National Football League?" He said, "Don, you don't have a thing to worry about. This guy is a winner. He's going to do the job for you. You don't have anything to concern yourself with." I said, "Well, are there any negatives about Matty?" He said, "Well, he did have trouble taking a snap from center." So we moved on from there. The Miami Dolphins in 1970. Joe Robbie hired me, the Robbie family. We were 3-10-1. They were 3-10-1 a year before. We turned it around to 10-4, into the playoffs, and then 3 Super Bowls in a row. Lost to the Cowboys. What I learned from that loss, and also another loss that I'm going to talk about later, was that when you're there, it's not good enough to be there. When you're there, you better walk away with that ring, because they're only thinking about one team when that game's over. Before the game, they're talking about 2 football teams. When the game's over, there's only one winner. And I learned that the hard way in my first 2 Super Bowls. I was 0-2 in Super Bowls. But then things fell into place. Back-to-back Super Bowls. The 17-0 perfect season. The next year, 15-2, 32-2 in 2 years. What a football team. I think what coaching is all about is taking players and analyzing their ability, put them in a position where they could excel within the framework of the team winning. And I hope that I've done that in my 33 years as a head coach. The career highlights, I'm proud of being able to break the record of a man that's meant so much to the National Football League, a record that nobody ever thought would be broken, George Halas's record of 324, and then to end up with a total of 347 wins, averaging 10 regular season wins for 33 years, and the best winning percentage, and I'm very proud of this, of any professional team from 1970 to 1996. The team highlights certainly have to be 17-0, the only team in history, and a special bond is developed with that group of players. They wear this ring with pride. And this year is going to be the 25th anniversary of the 17-0 team, the only undefeated season. The low light in my career, the loss to the Jets in Super Bowl III. Weeb Eubank is the coach here, and what a coach Weeb is. And then they had a quarterback by the name, I keep forgetting, Joe Namath was the quarterback. And what a game that he had against us. And that certainly, but I did learn from that negative experience. I hope the hell I learned something from that negative experience. And I'm also a little bit upset because my career didn't end in a blaze of glory. I would have liked to have rode off into the sunset. But instead, we got beat in the first round of the playoffs in the last game that I coached. And I felt at that time the team underachieved, and I would have loved to have bowed out with a Super Bowl win, but it didn't happen. What's life been after the National Football League? I've missed the action, there's no question, on Sunday afternoon. Nothing could replace that. But my wife, Marianne, stand up here and let's. She's helped keep me busy by making life interesting and enjoyable. Together we have now a combined family of 8 children and 8 grandchildren, and we're having a lot of love and happiness together. You know, it's only 50 miles, but I've relished every moment of the longer route to get here. Thanks for letting me reflect on those great moments.